We begin with breaking news out of Melbourne, and the Tamil family at the centre of a controversial deportation case will continue being held in detention as their hearing is delayed in the federal court. The family was due to learn today whether they'd be deported to Sri Lanka as planned, but a judge has extended the temporary injunction now to September 18 to give the court more time to consider the issue.
Lawyers are attempting to determine whether the couple's youngest daughter is eligible for asylum. It's their last chance to stay in Australia. We're standing by to hear from the family's lawyers shortly, and our reporter Gabriella Powers, who was in court for the decision, will also be giving us an update.
And Annalise, the judge stressed that given the level of public interest, this is just an interim order. Any final order is still a long way off, but still a reprieve at least of 2 weeks, which means the family will stay on Christmas Island for another fortnight at least. They've had supporters head up to Christmas Island from Biloela, where they were, of course, taken to Christmas Island after their plane was landed in Darwin off the back of the first injunction, and now yet another injunction, but only a temporary reprieve at this point for that Tamil family.
It does really show just how significant the impact of the extended media coverage and the advocacy from the Biloela community really has been to see them receive this injunction again delayed. So that's something that's quite extraordinary within this type of issue, and also questions about them being on Christmas Island and who's going to bear the costs of that as well. That could impact them further down the road.
And apparently the only people on Christmas Island in terms of in the detention facility, that is. This, as the Minister for Home Affairs this morning said on the Nine Network, that he's had the General of Operation Sovereign Borders come back from Colombo, and that this case is talked about in Sri Lanka this very day. This is a misrepresentation of the case, that somehow this family will settle permanently in Australia. Others are trying to get people onto boats now. So the Minister this morning saying that the family's been used as a pawn, as others have been, by people smugglers. So they've not been given a permanent guarantee of being allowed to stay. In fact, only another couple of weeks. But according to Peter Dutton, quoting the General of Operation Sovereign Borders just back from Sri Lanka, this case is already being cited and being used by people in Sri Lanka right now to market that trade of people smuggling, apparently.
There's also that potential, as David Spears was reporting last week, that the family could be allowed to apply for a visa when they return to Sri Lanka to move here permanently, but that could be impacted by the sheer amount of publicity as well. It could end up being a double-edged sword.
Indeed. The global attention has been one of the matters where, if the Labor Party keeps talking about the amount of ministerial discretion that Peter Dutton has used, some 4,000 cases, but the issue here is the attention, not just Australia-wide but worldwide, that this case has attracted, and therefore the government believes would be too much of a headline in terms of the people smugglers and trying to market their trade to people in Sri Lanka, to Tamils, given we've seen 6 boat attempts in the last few months, all of them thwarted, all of them sent back to Sri Lanka. But that being said, 6 attempts shows that there is some effort to try and restart that trade.